Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Listen, Tracy Nix was sentenced yesterday and we need to talk about it. But first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps other people find us. Also, find me over on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. So look. A couple of months ago, we talked about the Tracy Nix case. And if you did not follow that coverage, first of all, I have a Tracy Nix playlist in the description box of this video, but I could get you caught up real fast. This is what happened. Tracy Nix was a little grandma over there in wherever she lived, child. You know, I don't remember. Anyway, so was it Florida? I think it was Florida. I don't even know. Anyway, she was living someplace in America, right? And so Tracy was married to her husband, Nay, and they have 2 adult daughters and some grandkids and stuff. And she's just like, I have the best life ever. She was a school principal and she was living happily ever after in retirement. Now, keep in mind, she's been around children her whole entire life. She's been an educator. She's down to the church. She's doing all the things. She's feeding the hungry. She's having prayer meetings. She's doing everything. And then, her daughter was like, hey, Ma, can you watch the baby? I'm just going to go get my hair done. It's going to be like 2 hours and then I'll be back. And Tracy was like, of course. And so she was like, but, you know, on Tuesdays I have prayer meeting. And so, I will take the baby with me and we'll go down to this local restaurant and we're going to have some lunch. And so the daughter was like, yes, of course, that sounds lovely. So she takes the baby and they go down to the prayer meeting and then they go have lunch and they have a lovely day. And then Tracy drives home. The distance from the restaurant to her house is 7 minutes. In that 7 minutes, she completely forgot that her grandbaby was in the backseat of the car. She parked the car, went in the house, and for 3 hours did not check, did not think about it. Oh, she's playing the piano, she's feeding the dog, she's doing everything. And then at one point she was like, let me go see what my husband Nay is doing down in the barn. So she gets in the car, still forgetting the baby is in the back of the seat, and drives down to the barn and was like, hey, when did our daughter come and pick up the child? And her husband was like, I don't know. I've been out here in the barn. And her husband looks in the back seat and is like, the baby is in the car. Tracy freaks all the way out. It's a terrible situation. It sounds like a tragic accident. And I was like, oh my goodness. And Tracy was like, I cannot go on. How can I face my daughter? This is terrible. And I was like, why are they, this sounds like a terrible tragedy. Why would they even charge this lady? This is the background that you need to understand. This was the second one of Tracy Nix's grandchildren who died accidentally while in her care. This same daughter had a son. The son, while in Tracy's care, toddled out of the house, fell in a body of water, and drowned while Tracy was supposed to be watching him. Now listen. This daughter is better than me because how she did not commence to beating that mama within an inch of her life, I will never understand. So, Tracy was just like, that first baby died, and then almost a year to the day, the second baby died. And according to Tracy, none of this was her fault. It was all just a misunderstanding. And if y'all understood her better, then you would see that this is not really her fault. I really deeply, from the bottom of my heart, do not like this lady because she's irresponsible. Her act right is not installed at all. Some people, your act right gets loose. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's going to need some new tread on it or something like that. She don't have no act right. And now she's in her 60s. You can't even get her no aftermarket act right because it's never going to fit quite the way like natural act right would act. So I'm like, okay, we followed the trial of this whole trash bag. And she was just like, I was a school principal. I am down to the church every chance I get. I sing in the choir. I do all these things. And I'm like, ma'am, where's the part of this where you take responsibility for, even if it was an accident, 2 accidents, 2 children of the same one of your children, 2 kids. 2 of your grandchildren are no longer here because of you. And you want us to consider the fact that, oops, ma'am, no. That's not how any of this works, right? So she goes to trial, but at the trial, the jury is not allowed to know about the first grandchild. The jury can only consider what happened with the second grandchild. And so the jury goes out and they deliberate. And here's the thing. The state had the goods, but the state was saying she was an irresponsible grandmother. But she was just like, I'm not going to take the stand. I'm going to sit here with my little pixie cut and I'm going to look very innocent. She did smirk real hard through the whole trial, real hard. I kind of wanted to smack the smirk off her face, but they don't allow me to do that, especially through the TV. But I was looking at her real mean on the TV, right? And so I was like, okay, justice will prevail. And then she gets convicted of not the top count, but of a lower count. And I was like, that seems very unfair to me. I mean, yeah, she's going to go down to jail or she's going to go to prison, but probably for not that long. And the truth is, the charge that she was convicted of basically is like the same as kind of like a drunk driving charge. And so people who get drunk driving, especially for the first time, tend not to get harsh punishments. The judge could have just been like, okay, you're sorry, you're on probation for 5 years or whatever it is. But when she got convicted, she stood before the judge and the judge was like, jury, thank you so much for your service. Trash bag grandma, get up here. And she got up there and she was like, yes, Your Honor. And he was like, lock her up. And I was like, Now listen, if you watch court like I watch courts, you know, if you get a lesser charge and they lock you up right there when you're convicted, that means that judge gonna max you out. You're gonna do some real time. And so she was like, and she went on off to the local jail. And I was like, okay, well, let her sit her behind in jail and think about what she has done, because clearly she's still just thinking about herself like me, my, I. And I was like, okay, we're gonna wait this couple months and we're gonna see how much time the judge gives her. And I thought that was going to be the end of the story. Well, if you thought that, you would be very, very wrong, because a scandal jumped off in the meantime. Please hold. So Tracy Nix is sitting in jail on this lesser charge that she feels like is unfair. And her little church lady girlfriends are going after her daughter who has lost 2 children. That daughter, the parents, the little church ladies are like, I guess you're happy now. Now your mother is locked up. What do you want from her? This is not her fault. Church ladies, clearly y'all act right is not installed either. What the what? Anyway, so Tracy is down in the prison, and the church ladies that are still over there at Bilbo Baggins, whatever they call that little eatery place they go to, they are down there eating, and you know they still like, Tracy, let's tip out a little coffee for her or something, because you know they're not drinking. They probably would have been better off if they was drinking liquor, but I'm just saying they were like, oh, we're gonna say our prayers for Tracy and hope that things are going okay for her in prison. Meanwhile, over at the prison, y'all, Miss Tracy is living her best life. Now, I know you thinking an elderly grandmother who has never been in trouble. What kind of trouble could she possibly get in down at the prison? Well, what had happened was they put her in a 4-woman cell, right? And so Tracy was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to be down here in my bright orange jumpsuit and all my innocence, and I'm just going to read my Bible and pray. But Tracy was like, well, wait, down here in the jail, nobody is really watching and paying attention to me. I'm just going to talk to these other girls in my cell. And her and the other girls got to talking. And they got close. You know how like if you're in confined quarters with somebody, you get real close. And sometimes you get closer than close, closer than most. Tracy was down there doing the lickety splits with 2 of her roommates, her cellmates, her cellie. And she was living her best life, right? She's like, oh, I could get all the lady love I want. I could just splash around here in the lady pond, and none of the ladies down to the church. Now, they still over at the cafe saying prayers for me, and I'm on my knees, but I'm not exactly saying prayers, right? So she's down there. She's enjoying herself with two of the ladies from her cell. This is what I want to know. If it's a 4-woman cell, she's doing a lickety splits with 2 of these heifers. Did they wait till the other girl went out to the bathroom or something? They're like, she gone. Okay, let's go. Look, I don't know. Anyway, so she's enjoying the divine goodness of all the women, or at least 2 of her cellmates. And one of her cellmates was like, hey, so you've been telling us about your life and how much you love to diddle our kibbles and bits and stuff like that. We diddle yours, you diddle ours. This is wonderful. And Tracy apparently confided to her little roommates that she loves ladies and that she's been wanting to get with ladies for a long, long time. And now this is her chance. She's there. I started to say something real filthy. She's real happy. Let's just put it like that. She's real happy. And they were like, oh, you've told us all about your life. You have kids. That's wonderful. You have a nice big farm. You had a lovely house and a lovely life prior to this. Tracy, we've heard you talk about the church and we've heard you talk about the other ladies. This is what we're going to do. we know that you are very, very upset and concerned about your reputation in the community. So now, I got a cousin that needs a little money. My cousin needs $1,000. And Tracy was like, oh, well, I don't think that I can give you $1,000. And the little cellmate was like, well, if you don't give my cousin this $1,000, I'm going to tell the church ladies that you over here doing the lickety splits in the prison. And Tracy was like, I don't, hang on for a second. Hello, Nay, her husband. One of my little jail compadres, she needs some commissary, and her mama's name is sick, and this is what I need you to do. Get $1,000 in unmarked bills, put them in an envelope, and meet her cousin in the parking lot at the jail at 2:00 tomorrow. And Nay was like, okay, honey, if that's what you need me to do. So they met. Nay, her husband, and her roommate's cousin or whoever meet in the parking lot of the jail, and Nay hands off the money. This is what you need to know about jail parking lots. They're covered by cameras. Oh, there's all kinds of surveillance and everything. So this is caught on film. And Tracy was like, okay, so can we go back to playing the lickety splits? Because I think you're my favorite. And then the girl was like, thank you so much. Remember, I promised you that if you gave me this $1,000, that I would not tell the newspapers and your daughter would never find out. And our lady love would just stay between us. This is what you need to understand, Miss Tracy, America's best Christian. I'm a liar. That's why I'm in prison. Now I need $10,000. And she was like, wait, what? What? Oh my goodness. This is so terrible. Okay, I can't give you $10,000. And the girl was like, you know, I got the phone number for the local newspaper right here. How is this going to go down? You're like, oh, I'm a Christian and everybody loves me. I am America's best Christian. I am without sin. How are they going to feel when they find out that you down here paying blackmail money for doing the lickety splits with two of the ladies in the cell? What you going to do now, girl? And she was like, oh, I'm in a pickle that once again is not my fault. Okay. And so she told jail officials. Did she think the jail officials were going to keep this confidential? She's not good with jail. She don't see also her act right has gone missing. The tread is gone. A belt has broken. I don't know how it works, but hers is gone. It has gone all the way to the left, right? So she was like, okay, I have to tell somebody. So she tells the jail people, my roommate, who I love her real lot. You see how pretty her hair is? She's blackmailing me. Can you please move me? I'm in danger. And it's not really my fault. I accidentally stumbled one day and I did nasty things to her several times, and I let her do nasty things to me. But oops. And the jail people were like, okay, we understand. This is not supposed to happen. This is terrible. We're so sorry. We're going to move you from this jail to that jail. Also, we're going to tell the local newspaper and God and all the world. So everybody going to know what you've been down here doing. And Tracy was like, oh no, this is terrible. And I was so scandalized by the story that I did a segment called Heifer What? She held herself out to be America's best Christian, only to find out she down here to the prison splashing in the lady pond. Okay, well, splash away if you want to. Ain't none of my business. But don't on one hand be like, I'm so innocent. This is so terrible. I don't know how things keep happening to me. And then smirk during your grandchild's trial, during the trial for the unfortunate unaliving of your grandchild that you were responsible for. And now you're like, I don't know. It's not me. Girl, I can't stand this lady. Anyway. So yesterday was the sentencing. And Tracy, y'all, you have heard me talk about the glow down. Now listen, people go to prison looking one way. After they've been in there for a minute, the glow down is real. Y'all, I mean, it's not about being a raving beauty. It's about like just falling all the way off. All the way off. She has fallen so far off, I wasn't even sure it was the same person. I was like, Tracy, girl, is that you? You might want to wipe the corners of your mouth because I don't know what you got in your mouth, girl. Anyway, so she shows up in prison and the victims give the victim impact statements that are heartbreaking. Her daughter is like, I love my mother. I have to choose between justice for my children, 2 of my children, and my mother. And the little girl heart in me is like, I don't want anything bad to happen to my mama, but this heifer gotta do time. Real time. And the judge sat there stoic. And in his head, he was like, if I could come down there and bonk this heifer on her head with my gavel, I would. But bonkation is not allowed here in the courts in whatever state they were in. And so the judge judge really, really restrained himself. So everybody got up and said their things. It was terrible. And then Tracy decided to take the stand. And I was like, oh, well, this is the first time we're going to hear her speak. What could she possibly say about these charges, right? Hang on. Tracy Nix did not disappoint. Or maybe she did. She did exactly what I expected her to do. Tracy Nix got on the stand and told her life story. I married Nay and we didn't want to have children right away. Man, what does this have to do with this crime? She was like, we didn't want to have children right away. So we waited a little bit. And then when we decided to get pregnant, it didn't happen easily. We had to do fertility treatments. Ma'am, everybody does fertility treatments. Make your point. Make it about the victim and your remorse. She was like, and so when I had a baby, you, my beautiful daughter, were the most beautiful baby I've ever seen in my life. And I was just like, oh my goodness, you're the smartest and you're the most wonderful and blah, 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 blah. Ma'am, you're still talking about yourself. I don't know if you noticed, but you're still talking about you and not how sorry you are for this crime. Okay, maybe you should say less, but I know you won't. So please go ahead and say more. And she was just like, and then when that first baby died, it was not really my fault. See, what had happened was, and she told the whole story about how she was negligent and the baby toddled out of the house because we didn't know he could reach the doorknob and we didn't know and I didn't know and it was not my fault. And then when I found him, I was hysterical. Me, my, I was so upset. And then here's the part that she didn't mention, but I caught in other interviews. This daughter who had lost her son. Now, her oldest daughter had a son, had a second baby. That's the one that Tracy just threw away, basically, and was pregnant with her third child. At the time that her son stumbled into the little retention pond, the daughter was pregnant with a baby girl, right? So she was just like, when that baby passed, I didn't know what to do. I was beside myself. Oh my goodness. And so the daughter was like, my mother has done this terrible thing. And everybody told me it was an accident. You have to rise above. You have to forgive. You have to work through this. Otherwise, your family is going to be destroyed. And so she, the daughter, out of the goodness of her heart, gave her mama a second chance. And periodically and from time to time, under very narrow supervised circumstances, would let her mother spend time with the new baby that she had just had. Let this have been my mama. My mama couldn't have seen them baby in pictures. No way in this world. But she was just like, the daughter, who is a real soldier and a true Christian, in my opinion, was just like, I decided to forgive my mother and let her spend time with my child, even though I was terrified. Every minute I was like, oh my goodness, will my child be safe? But I trusted that my mother had learned from her mistakes, and then that baby died. Y'all. And so the daughter is like torn apart. And so Tracy goes on to explain she was real sad the first time she was negligent. And then this second time, see what had happened was, and then she goes on to explain about the prayer meeting and the lunch, and the baby was so sleepy and she put the baby in the car seat and it wasn't her fault because somebody else put the baby in the car seat. And then she just went in the house and she forgot and she was devastated. And when she found out this had happened again, she just wanted to harm herself because what were the people in the community going to say? And see, can't you understand how sorry she is, ma'am? I never heard you say you were sorry. I heard you sing me in the key of I. I never heard you say, I am deeply and heartfully sorry. What she should have done, now look, had she had me write her statement, cut out all that nonsense. Say, I made a mistake. This is terrible. I will never get over it. And then leave it there. She said it was terrible. She said she would never get over it. But between me and you know she's going to be down into the prison, back at the lickety splits once again, living her best life, being like, Nay who? Nay, my husband, put some money on my books so me and these girls can keep partying it up. Anyway, so she was just like, okay. She said her little thing, and then she went and sat back down. Well, she stood up, and the judge was like, Okay, Heifer, now listen. These are not quotes. This is the spirit of what he said. The judge was like, Heifer, now listen. I heard you get up here. I heard these parents talk about all these terrible things. And all you did was talk about yourself. You talked about how bad you felt. But I suspect that you felt bad because now everybody going to know what a trash human being you are. And so I'm going to max your behind out and I will sentence you to 5 years. The daughter is hysterical crying because she feels like, oh my goodness, I've lost 2 of my children and I'm losing my mother. Tracy was very sad for herself because that's all Tracy Nix thinks about is herself. She going to prison where she will be happy if you ask me, because all that lady love right around there. But you know what? She done unfortunately unalive 2 of her grandkids. You know how many of those ladies in prison wish they could spend time with their grandkids? And this lady done offed 2 children. Good luck. You're not going to have the pick of all the best ladies, ma'am, in prison. Something tells me they're not going to like you that good. I sincerely hope that's the case. And then the judge had a message for the community. He was like, listen, I don't live over here wherever y'all live, but this is what I know. This is torn the community apart and people are divided or whatever. Y'all need to get y'all act right together because I have a gavel and I am not afraid to go bonking people and I can bonk with impunity outside this courtroom. So don't let me hear you talking bad to this family who has lost 2 children. And the whole community was like, oh, okay, we go. Yes, Your Honor. And so now America's best Christian, Tracy Nix, is gone to prison for 5 years. What are the odds that she survived? She's a little bit old. Her health is not good. Her mental health is bad. Although the lady loving might perk her right back up. I don't know what's going to happen. But Tracy Nix is in prison, and I'm real glad to not have to talk about this trash bag no more. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.